Welcome! Today we're going to walk through your child's IEP step by step in plain language. It is highly recommended you have a copy of your child's IEP with you during this module so that you can follow along as we take you through each section. You can pause this presentation at any time. This document can feel overwhelming at first, but by the end of our time together, the goal is for you to feel more confident reading it so you can participate and advocate effectively in your child's special education decision-making process. There will be various screenshots like this, showing parts of the IEP form used in Baltimore County. But don't worry, you're not expected to read this tiny print. These are just a visual reference that might help you find the section we are describing. Baltimore County Public Schools created these modules to provide brief overviews of each booklet in the series on special education that was published by the Maryland State Department of Education in 2023. To download any of the 5 booklets, use this QR code or keyword search MSDE Special Education Parent Information Series. You are likely watching this module today because your child has already been found eligible and has an IEP. But if you would like more information on the eligibility process, check out our module on special education process. Before we get into this document, let's define what an IEP is. It stands for Individualized Education Program. It's a legal document developed once a child is found eligible for special education. It explains your child's abilities and learning support needs. Most importantly, it's written specifically for your child. This is not a generic plan, and your deep knowledge about your child makes you an important member of the team that develops the IEP. Flip through your child's IEP now, and you will find section headings throughout that are labeled with Roman numerals. We're going to go through each of these 6 sections of the IEP. Before the Roman numerals begin, the first few pages are student information and establish basic details like age and grade and the primary disability. Note those projected dates for future meetings near the bottom right corner. This is helpful information. While an IEP meeting can be called at any time, those projected dates let you know when meetings should occur at a minimum. Now we begin with Roman numeral 1, meeting and identifying information. This section identifies your child's eligibility for special education. It is good to know that your child's primary disability could change over the years with new information or reevaluations. You can also see here assessments and graduation information. The type of state and district-wide assessments your child participates in each year informs whether they will meet graduation requirements. Know that the default is for all students to participate in these assessments and to pursue a high school diploma. Alternative assessments or alternative teaching standards can be provided to students with significant and global delays. However, this decision is not taken lightly. There must be significant discussion and ultimately parental consent before a child is provided with the alternative framework. You can learn more on the decision-making process and the implications of this alternative education framework in the module dedicated to this topic. Okay, moving on now to Roman numeral 2, present levels of academic achievement and functional performance. This is truly the foundation for the rest of your child's IEP. It is like the current location when using a map app. When the team understands the starting point, they can appropriately map out the plans for support and services to get your child to their destination. Parental input on present levels is often provided both before the meeting, in writing, and during the meeting. Your voice matters. You may not be an educator, but no one knows your child better than you. While the focus here is on those areas that are impacted by the disability, it is important both the needs and strengths in this area are documented. One student may have one area of impact, such as speech articulation, while another student may have many more areas impacted by their disability, such as academics, communication, motor skills, and social emotional. With those important present levels established, now we move into Roman numeral 3, special considerations and accommodations. This section 3 can be viewed as a good description of what specialized instruction looks like for your child. There are several subsections. First up are some required yes/no questions about any special considerations. If yes is clicked for any of these considerations, there will be plenty more information about this throughout other sections of the IEP. Next up in this section is instructional and assessment accessibility features. There's a large menu of features that make testing more accessible. When the team is choosing accessibility features for your child, it must be supported as necessary by those present levels described earlier. Moving on in this same section, now we have supplemental aids and supports. This is not what your child will learn, that will come up next under goals, but this is how adults will support your child while they are learning. Supports could fall under any or all of these categories here. There is a row for each support listed, as is somewhat shown in this screenshot. Reading across each row, you will see how often the support is provided and who is primarily responsible for providing it. A more detailed description of the support appears under each row. A good description allows you or any reader to picture what that support looks like specifically for your child. If the description is vague or leaves you with questions, speak up and ask for it to be described in different words or in more detail. If your child is 14 or older, preparing for life after graduation is also addressed in several places in the IEP, starting here in Section 3. If interested in more information on secondary transition planning and special education, see the module in this series dedicated to this topic. And now, the extended school year discussion is the last part in Section 3. Not all students are eligible for extended school year ESY services. There are several guiding questions and much data needed to support the decision. In short, students who are eligible for ESY are those who are working on critical life skills and who show significant regression of skills after large breaks in services. We have reached Roman numeral 4, goals. This section explains what your child is expected to learn over the next year. Those important present levels discussed back in Section 2 are the foundation here for creating the priority skills to address in goals. Each 12-month goal will have shorter-term objectives that support the success of achieving that goal. It is important that the goals and objectives are clear and measurable. In some cases, the qualified person writing the goal may not always be the person providing the service and working on that goal with your child. For example, goals developed in the late spring will likely be addressed by a new teacher next school year. It is important that anyone reading the goals sees exactly what skill or behavior is being addressed, how to address it, and how to measure progress. Parents want this information to be clear as well, so they can perhaps practice the skills at home, and so they can understand the quarterly progress reports on those goals. All right, we have now arrived at Roman numeral 5, the section parents are often anxious to get to, services. Service decisions for your child are based on those present levels in Section 2, the supports and accommodations in Section 3, and the goals from Section 4. If the documentation and justification is here, your child could qualify for services such as classroom instruction or related services such as speech, occupational therapy, or counseling. As you read across the line of service, you can see details on where, how often, and by what provider. Where a service occurs will just indicate inside or outside the general education classroom. Outside means that your child will be pulled out of the general education classroom and taken to a smaller classroom or therapy room, often with other IEP students. Inside could mean someone comes into the classroom to work on goals with your child in the context of what is occurring in the classroom. Who provides the service is listed not by a person's name, but by their educational title. P stands for primary, and O stands for other provider, who may do carryover work or provide some of the service. The final section of this individualized education program for your child is Section 6, Placement. This is often talked about as the least restrictive environment, LRE, to implement the IEP. Placement in an IEP is the final calculation of the amount of time your child is restricted from participating with non-disabled peers in the general education environment. This final calculation is based on the previous section that dictates what services your child is to receive on a weekly basis. It is important to remember that the legal mandate is for students with disabilities to be educated with their non-disabled peers to the greatest extent possible. The benefits of being educated in an inclusive setting can be academic, social, and behavioral. There are, however, placement options outside of general education. Significant amounts of services sometimes leads to the need for a specialized program not offered at your neighborhood school. When an IEP team determines a more restrictive setting is appropriate, you should see justification for that decision here on this page, as well as documentation that the team considered any potential harm in being removed from his home school and general education peers. You don't need to understand everything all at once. Read the IEP in pieces. Highlight and write down your comments or questions. Remember, confusion doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. This legally binding document is complex by design. During the meetings where IEPs are developed or revised, be comfortable asking the team to explain things in everyday language. Having a family member, friend, or advocate to help you process everything is always helpful. If disagreements occur, families have the right to seek any or all of the following processes: mediation, a due process hearing, and a formal state complaint. There is more information on these dispute resolution options in this Maryland Procedural Safeguards Notice that is shared with you at least once a year. You can also watch our module on parental rights. You are building your knowledge and understanding of the IEP so that you can participate more confidently. However, you could still have questions at any time. Contact us in Baltimore County Family Support Services or contact Maryland State Family Support Services to ask additional questions.